analyze data entity downloads with Counter. So Counter is a pure Python package that generates data entity download counts for the entities over a given time period. I'm just going to go through it quickly, but there's a lot of weeds that we could get into in how this works. But it's a Python package that you can, right now, you can grab it off of our GitHub page. You can install it locally if you're familiar with Python, and then you could run this locally. So it provides some handy information. It returns a SQLite database of the download counts, as well as an option to return CSV files. And if you look at that GitHub, there's a lot of information right there. But if you look at the data tables, there's two data tables that it returns, basically. One is at the package level, so it's a summary of all the data entities within a data package. So this bottom table that I'm looking at here are the actual entities, and I couldn't expand this enough to show all the details here, but it has the data package canonical identifier, the package that it belongs to, what date it was created within our system, how many downloads have been there for that particular entity, and then the object name. In this case, it's size fractionated chlorophyll. And if I look at this, so this is the CCE LTER site identifier 119.5. If I come up here, this is the summary of all those packages. So there it is right there, the top row. That's the DOI for that data package. That's the title of that data package itself. But then the summary of all the downloads of just the data entities show up in this field here. Now, so all of this can be done directly from the command line, and I'll show you that. So let me just come here, git counter source and counter. And the only reason I'm here is I want to remove this KNB LTR North Inlet. This is the SQLite data database table, and go ahead and get rid of that. KNB LTR North Inlet packages. Well, let me just do it this way. star.csv. And say yes, yes, and yes. Okay. So now, if I want to actually look at a particular period in time, I'm just going to actually, let me just look in the spirit of brevity here. Let's just grab counter. And I was just doing this earlier. And so instead of having to remember how to do all this, but let me just go ahead and grab this time frame here. So I'm going to copy that, clear. I'm going to paste that, but let me just change one output here. So what I'm going to do, let me just walk through this. Let me unpack this a little bit, and let me make sure I get the right command in there. So let me unpack this. So this is the command counter. This is the scope value I'm looking for. So that you kind of have to be familiar with our package identifier schemes to know what I'm talking about here. But as I was showing, like EDI, this is this particular KNB LTER North Inlet scope value. You have to authenticate. Oops, and I didn't want to show that guy. I guess I'll have to change that password. Dang, always happens. So you have to authenticate with your credentials, and this is the LDAP credentials again. You give it a start time and an end time, and so it's going to look and do a count for that period of time. So it's from in this case, it's the year of 2019. So if I wanted to measure all the downloads of all the data packages within the KNB LTR North Inlet scope within that time frame, this is how you do it. The -V just says, be a little verbose here, otherwise it doesn't show any output. This -C says to return the CSV files also. And this is the only thing I wanted to point out. There are two ways this connection actually works. One way is through the pure Pasta web services. The other way is it uses the database. The database is much faster, probably an order of magnitude, or maybe 2 or 3 depending on the data set or the scope value. I use it because I have privileges to use this thing. Most people do not have this, so it's going to be a little bit slower for most people. But again, just to be quick here, I just wanted to do this. And you'll see that it's running in the background. it's obtaining the title, the DOIs, and data. So it's actually hitting our repository, getting all this information, and it's done. So a total of 15 seconds to complete that. And let me just show you real quick. I'm just going to bring up a SQLite viewer, and here we have, let's just browse the data. So this is the entities table. So if I expand this a little bit, you can see that these are the names of those data files. There are 11 data packages. I think, no, it's only showing 9 of these right now. 10, my fault, 10. So anyway, and you'll see the count values here. And the winner here is this particular data set. And again, it's because I use it as a test data package all the time. And if you look at the summary pages, again, this is that KNB NIN.1.1. So again, helpful tool for sites, for groups that are publishing data through EDI if you need to track downloads over a particular period of time.